Hi everyone. Right now, let's go ahead and take a focused look at these links that are right here on this page in the module regarding color theory. Now, the links that are right here are very informative and they can get you a lot of content information. The first one here I want to take a look at right here is Adobe Color Info. I click on this one. This literally takes us to the Adobe website and it goes deep into the woods. So if you want to know a lot about colors and color swatches and talking about different types of color process and global colors, spot colors, etc. If you want to get in and find the details about that and really get to know the menus and really sort of study those in terms of what they are and what they have to say, please go here and do that. It will give you some invaluable information that will make your journey working with Illustrator so much simpler. The next thing here I wanted to go and talk about is the Adobe Color Picker. Now the Adobe Color Picker is that, let's say you're working on a custom color. In my previous video we talked about basically custom color palette, right? How you can create a palette from a photograph. But with this, let's say you don't really have a photograph and you just want to start with a generic sense of color. Well, we can go to that site. I'll bring you there now. And you'll notice that on this site, we have a collection of different ways that we can look at color and find them and save them for ourselves. When we first go here, and by the way, this is a free site. You just go to adobecolor.com. That's again, adobecolor.com. And when you open it up here, the first thing you get is this one that says analogous. That's what we're looking at here. These are different color combination in analogous form. And you'll notice that when I move these little circles here on this round color disk, you'll notice that in an analogous fashion, that's what my little sliders are doing. They're moving analogously to the colors that I am choosing, whether I'm going lighter with the tint or I'm going deeper, saturated with a tone. Okay, so you have a lot of variety there. Now I can change this up by just going and clicking on monochromatic. There's my monochromatic collection, and you see once again here I can go ahead and slide that around and I get all monochromatic color selections. I can grab the center one here and it actually makes it lighter or darker for me for that. Really nicely to have. Okay, next to be the triadic colors. Okay, once again I can go ahead and slide these around and I can pull up colors that are more of a triad, ones that are lighter or darker, etc. And I can find those just in those triads. So again, I can go through complementary, split complementary, right, double complementary, square, compound, into shades. So I can really, really mix it up here and get a whole variety of different colors. But you notice as I'm moving that little circle there or in through that color palette, you notice that all the little dials down below are moving. Look at how fast they're just sliding back and forth. That's because I'm changing colors. And what happens is that the numbers that they read off here are basically the color number that registers to that color. Okay, so if I wanted to make this color, I would use this setting, and this gives me the subsetting for the R, G, and B, right? This gives me the subsetting here. If I want to do a color mode and change that up, I can go right here and change it from RGB to CMYK. Now that would give me my color formulas for CMYK colors. Because if ever you want to have a very specific kind of color, different color systems can work differently with different processors or different printers. So from one printer to another, if you're going something to digital, and you want to have colors that are similar or exact for your production, you'll want to know what those colors are going to be and what your color palette is going to be. So this right here breaks it down for you for your HSB, it breaks it down for your lab, CMYK, RGB. Okay, now I will say that as you're mixing and moving colors around, that you can kind of change things up. We do have up here on this top right here, this here is that we can go ahead and go into different modes here. See where it says switch theme right there? If I click on that, it goes into dark mode. So if I want to know what that color is going to look like with radiated light, meaning from a computer screen, I can see what that's going to look like accurately for that color. So there's the same, look at the colors with a white background, but with a black background. Very different, don't they? Yeah. So it's a quick way while you're collecting and saving colors that you can do just that. You can put either one, the white or the black background. Now right here it says you can save. If I click on this, right, I can save, and it asks me to sign in. So if you sign in with your Adobe, with your email address that you're using for your Adobe, it will take you to the cloud and it will save whatever color palette you selected. It'll download it there, so that way when you get back to your program, you can open that up and you can download that into your program so you can have those swatches for yourself. Let's go back over here. Actually, I'll go back into here and let's go back to the colors here. Now back with the color palette out here, I want to finish up one more thing here. We have a couple of different things here where it says the different kinds of tunes you can get. One is going to be the extract theme. Now extract theme is a little different. Now you remember when we did a few minutes ago, in the last video, we did a raster to vector colorization, and we created a custom color palette using our photograph. Well, let's take that same photograph and I drag it and move it right in there. Look what happens to that photograph. It suddenly now is identifying colors that are colorful. Or now let's go ahead and let's select the colors within this photo that are bright. Let's select the colors in this photo that are muted. Now let's go deep, dark, and none just allows you to go and custom pick. And that allows you to go ahead and you can move these around to get just the area that you're looking for, and it adjusts those colors appropriately. Okay, so again, you get all these different variations that you can bring a photo into here, just like you did with Illustrator. But one thing you can do that you can't do in Illustrator is you can move the little bubbles here around, and you can customize to get that color just that you're just right looking for. Okay, and once again, you can still save it, and you can export it and upload it into your cloud, so that way you can download it when you are working on your Adobe Illustrator program. Now, that's the extract theme. This is basically going to be extract gradient, right? And this one sort of gets in accessibility tools here, goes back into your tools and gets really into fine tuning with the colors that you select. Okay, but we'll get back into these a little bit later. For right now, I just wanted you to know that you have this as an option. Now, if we go up here to the top of the screen, we haven't talked about these yet. This is create, where normally we're just going back in and either working with a photo, right, or working with a color wheel. And that's under the create. But right now, if we go under explore, let's tick on that one. Now explore, what that does is this brings up a whole bunch of pre-made images with color palettes. It has artwork, and then below the artwork, it gives you the colors that are used to create that artwork, right? So if we look at it and say this image right here, notice I move my cursor right on top of it, and the image slides up, and it reveals just the palettes. But when I move my cursor off, we have just the palettes below, and you can see it in combination with the final artwork. So you can kind of see what is possible with those colors. Now, if I move my cursor on top, you'll notice that I get two specific things. I get add to library or download JPEG. Now, if I download the JPEG, I can download this image, and you know how to convert this into a color palette in Adobe Illustrator now. Just by dragging it in and converting it from raster to vector, you can convert this into a palette. Or you can go the little longer way, which is this one right here, which is add to library, and this button will say, I want this swatch uploaded to your Creative Cloud library so that you can download it and have full access to it when you get back to Illustrator and start working in that program. So as you can see, there's quite a few beautiful, beautiful images that are here. We can click on next, and we can go ahead and just continue going through all the wonderful colors. So if you're stuck and you want to know, you have an idea of somewhere else to go with your color selections, this is a great way to do it. Now let's talk about this next tab here. This is called Trends. And Trends uses the images that are the most selected, most downloaded by people who use Adobe content. And these palettes are created from them. And they're developed and or grouped by theme. So these are all fashion palettes. Graphic design palette, illustration, interaction, like graphic design, web interaction, architecture, game design, wilderness, flavor, meaning foods, right, and travel. So you have all these different colors and collections that any one of these, you could go in, like say flavor, click on view more, and you'll get all these wonderful, wonderful photos with the color palettes selected to them. So this way you can once again move right over it. You can add to library, download as JPEG. So you have a lot of options here. Now the last one that's up here is My Libraries. And My Libraries wants you to sign in again. And what that does is that from within Adobe Color Picker, you could open up and access the libraries you have. So maybe you create something in Illustrator from a photo, you upload it to the cloud. Well, you can open it up here and bring it into the Adobe Color Picker, and you can fine tune the colors or find colors that you can add to your palette to expand it. So let's go back here. All right, so that pretty much takes us in there. I'm going to go back now to our page here in Canvas. Oops, excuse me there. Put a button there. I'm in Canvas, and now I'm going to go down to the Pantone color mix. Now, Pantone color is a way that we can do colors. Now, we talked about this when we were doing the custom color. If you remember when we were talking about creating a custom color palette when you're bringing photos in, remember I said use the universal color and it created those little white triangles? Well, this is the color combinations you're getting from those white triangles. These are what we call basically the Pantone colors or the formulas. You'll notice as I move my cursor over in that little pop-up window that's attached to it, that number, that sequential number underneath it is changing with every palette color. That's because each palette color has its own unique formula in Pantone. We use Pantone because it's a universal color system. So you could take this to a printer and say, well, my colors in my piece are all layered and designed and numbered with the Pantone color system. That way, it makes it easier for the printer to reproduce an exact duplicate of your artwork so that you don't have to worry about any wide variations in color correction. Okay, so this is again here, and you can go back in and you can select, add more colors to this. You can add all kinds of different colors you can select from, and just by selecting on here, you can select what you want. You can go for RGB, CMYK, hex, all the different sort of different color families that are out there. If you want to go with a grouping, right here where it says Pantone color, I can hit the drop-down menu and I can pull up, say, oh, I want to go pastels. Automatically brings up pastels. So you can have all these various colors that you can have here to use. You can go ahead and download these and then paste them into Adobe Illustrator to go and get that, or just look them up so that way you can find just the right color combination that you're looking for with your color code. So that's the Pantone. The last one that's on here is basically Create Custom Library. And this one takes you back over to the Adobe Color Info like we looked at the very beginning, which specializes and goes right back here to swatches and colors and creating custom panels and basically talking about all the information that I've already talked about here in this video and in the previous video on creating custom swatches and how to edit them. So there we are, folks. We have a whole bunch of good things for you here, and I'm going to be adding this video right in here on this Canvas page for you. So go ahead and after this video, go into these palette sites here. Go ahead and check them out. Go ahead and click on those, learn a little bit more about color, particularly go into the color picker site. Have some fun, look around them. There's so much to see. So that's it, folks, and we'll see you next time in class.